Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The New Zealand heavyweight Hemi Ahio has advanced to 19-0 following the retirement of his opponent Christian Tsoye after just one round, and you heard that right. So Christian Tsoye did not come out for round two. His corner retires him seemingly due to an arm injury to his right arm, and that was something that he did shake and sort of grimace towards the end of round one, signaling something had happened. It's a bit unclear if bicep, elbow, whatever, but I guess it's kind of academic really. He was not fit to continue and was retired. And this was a real shame for Hemi Ahio because the fight was only really just starting to get going, and I think there were a few signs that Christian Tsoye wasn't going to be able to hang with Hemi Ahio, who came out in round one with aggression and volume. He was throwing really nice combinations and short shots, working both sides of the body, bringing shots up, hooks to the head, and also nice short right hands as well. He was kind of throwing everything in the book, and that volume, you could sort of see it was starting to catch up a little bit with Christian Tsoye partway through the round because he was starting to breathe quite heavy. So, I mean, maybe some will question the validity of this injury. I mean, perhaps it was something he was already carrying, remembering that Tsoye was the late notice opponent. Joe Jones, the original opponent, replaced late in fight week by Christian Tsoye, who has previously been notoriously durable. Obviously, in this case, his body gave out and he did not continue. But it's a shame for Ahio because it was an opportunity, a showcase for him to show his wares. And it was a solid first round. He didn't sort of set the world on fire, but he went out there. He was doing his job, just outlanding Christian Tsoye. He was slipping some shots. He got caught with a few as well, obviously. His aggressive style, pressing forward, throwing a lot of shots, it's going to leave him open to some counters and to eat some shots that was coming from the opposite direction. But nobody was hurt in this fight. Nothing that Ahio threw looked like it troubled Christian Tsoye. But, I mean, it's hard to really know. Obviously, towards the end of that first round, the arm injury or whatever was happening, and it changed the course and the result of this fight to a stoppage by retirement for Hemi Ahio to advance to 19-0. So disappointing in some regards, and I do understand via Twitter that not all broadcasters that were showing this around the world picked up this fight and actually broadcast it. So this one happened immediately after the Junior Farr and Lucas Brown fight, but judging from Twitter, not everyone was able to see it. So hopefully you will be able to catch it somewhere in its entirety, all 3 minutes at some point. But Ahio rolls on, and I guess what now? Because the problem I have with Hemi Ahio in his career at this point is, where is it really going? You got this opportunity on a decent card, and all they could manage, originally it was going to be Joe Jones, and that I didn't think was much chop. Ahio's 31 years old. He's had a record heading into this of 18-0, and Joe Jones is basically, top 100, something there or thereabouts. Hemi Ahio needs some stepping stone fights to get him into that sort of contention zone. He's got a WBC trinket, but really that's got him nowhere in the WBC rankings. And what's his management doing? He's promoted by Lou DiBella, but DiBella hasn't really been able to sort of give him much of note. I mean, the fight between Farr and Brown, although we figured it was a mismatch and Farr was going to walk away with it, and that certainly did not happen, at least it was on the main card in terms of being shown around the world. Whereas Hemi Ahio doesn't seem to have got the same sort of shine. And of course, when you're facing a guy with a 5-4 record and you're a swing bout and it's a 6-rounder, I mean, you have to ask what's really happening. How far are you going? Who's really pushing you in the right direction for your career here? Because you're on the card, but basically you're surplus to requirement and didn't even get shown in a lot of places by all accounts from people on Twitter. Of course, I saw it here in New Zealand because he's a New Zealand fighter. They were always going to show that here, but others obviously chose not to, and perhaps just showing the main different fights that were originally advertised as being on the main card. But, you know, an early ending in Farr Brown, obviously they need to fill a bit of space, and so Hemi Ahio fills that void after that. So hopefully they can get him something, because otherwise, what's the point? Where's he really going? And I would note as well, 255 pounds for this fight. Junior Fa, out of the same gym as City Kickboxing, he was 268. Both these guys well above, I think, where they should probably really be fighting at. I think Junior Fa somewhere in the 250s, which has been better for him. And Hemi Ahio has been more sort of around 230-ish. 255 for a guy that's 6 foot? Nah, that's not going to work in the long term. I didn't think he looked as quick, mobile and agile, but of course having the extra 25 pounds is going to sort of take a hair of speed off. But I guess when you're facing a guy that's got a 5-4 record that you know your level's above, and that while he's durable, you can basically get your work away and score points and make it count. It probably, he was like, and even for Joe Jones, 255 wouldn't have mattered. But stepping up further, I don't think that's going to cut it. For a guy that is 6 foot, you really need to be making the most of your attributes, which for him, against some of those bigger guys that he will invariably fight, will be his speed too. The ability to get in and out, be elusive, and drop those power shots when you get to the inside. And if you're carrying a little bit too much rubble, and I'm not saying he was looking well overweight or fat, but I don't think that 255 is going to cut it long term. But if he's facing this level of opposition, well, it doesn't really matter. It probably doesn't care, with this level of opposition, because, again, this was a showcase fight. But for a guy with 19 fights on the books, and he's been pro for about, 8 or 9 years, it's time to hit the go button. Is someone going to actually invest in this guy's career and put him in a meaningful fight? Because that's what we need to see. Or are they going to sort of recycle Julius Long for a third time? Hemi Ahio can be an excitement machine, but let's see him test it. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.